Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next teaching conversation session. Today, we're going to be talking about content, but specifically content as the product of teaching. So the thing that we're going to be creating, the thing we're going to be putting together for our classroom. Now, we have a special guest with us, Teena Zindel-McWilliams. So I will let Teena introduce herself. So, Teena, go ahead and tell us just a little bit about your job at the college and your role in this learning community.
Hello, everyone. My name is Teena Zindel-McWilliams. I'm the Director of Institutional and Academic Planning. That means that I support deans and faculty and really the entire institution in making sure that the programs and services that we offer fit the accreditors' expectations. So I work both with the affirmation accreditation for the federal government, as well as the state, and I work on strategic planning. You'll also hear me referred to as the institutional historian. That's because I've been at Richland for a number of years, and that seems to be an unofficial role that I have. One of the areas that I do work on with faculty and deans, though, is the syllabus, and that's our topic for today.
Well, I am really glad that you brought up, by the way, the college historian, because Richland has been around since, correct me if I'm wrong, 1981?
No, it's been there since 1972.
Oh my, okay,
Yes.
was
That was
1981?
probably before you were born.
Well, a smidge, but unfortunately not as many years as I wish. But there have been a number of people who have built this community that we call this community college. And one of the things that I think we need to take a moment and highlight as people are joining our community as an educator and addressing the needs of our learning community, that we really understand that it is a family environment. And I think you do have a unique perspective to bring to that. So I really want to thank you, not just for all the work that you've done in helping build this community, but helping us welcome the next generation of teachers to this community.
As both in my history as an adjunct faculty member and as a full-time faculty member and in a number of roles through my time, I truly believe and I support the notion that we are a team. And I know that sometimes that sounds trite, but for Richland, that is true. It is difficult for me to step out in the hallway and ask a question that no one can answer or can direct me. And this is probably what's important for you all, is if you have a question and you don't know where to go, find someone, and that person may not know the answer, but that individual will help you figure out where to go to get the answer.
And honestly, that leads right into our discussion of the day, because we're going to be talking about two things here: master syllabus and working syllabus. Whereas master syllabus is going to be something that's college-wide or course-wide, the working syllabus is going to be to a great deal put together by the instructor. But I think the thing that we need to connect this to is those folks that are other adjuncts, those folks that are full-timers, those folks that are deans or support staff or front office staff or student service staff, all of these folks, we're in it together. And so as we build this, this is not something you're solely responsible for. It's something we as a team build. So let's get on into the content. Start talking to me about what is this whole master syllabus idea and what's this whole working syllabus idea?
So we start with the notion of a master syllabus. That's the document that was submitted to a number of organizations like the Illinois Community College Board and others to show that this course has rigor, that it's planned out, that it fills 16 weeks or whatever the parameter of the time frame of the course is, that it has clear objectives, and that it fits in the scope of a program very clearly. Now, that master syllabus is approved, and that's what the faculty use to develop their working syllabus, which is done every semester. So even if you teach in the spring, let's say, you would have to go in and make adjustments for the fall because you're changing the calendar or you're changing something that didn't work the first time you offered the course. I do that all the time. I don't like the order of something. I don't like the reading assignment. So the master syllabus is maintained because that's our guide, but the working syllabus is yours. It is your creation. Within reason. It is your creation as long as you can get to the outcomes and objectives that are listed that have been developed for the course in general and how they fit into a particular program.
So the master thread is kind of that directional guide that weaves all the way through not just the course of Math 098, for example, but also as part of the larger program of study,
Yes.
or to be honest, many programs of study, depending on what kind of course you're teaching, or certifications if it's not a graduation requirement, certification requirements. But all of those, that is our broad guidance for where we're headed versus the working syllabus, which is where are we as a class going to go? Where
Right.
are we as a group of learners going to go? And you're 100% right on that working syllabus. Change is constant. Change is constant. So whereas the master syllabus is consistency, the working syllabus is flexibility.
Right.
And it
But
allows us
I
to
do
be
I
unique.
I do want to stop you though and remind you that in the course of a semester, that syllabus can't change.
It's a really good point. Yes, because this is in essence our contract with our students
Right.
for this is our scope, this is our sequence, these are our goals, this is where we're going. I may adjust learning activities to a degree, but the learning goals don't change.
Right. Right. If the calendar changes, let's say we have to have a day off because of a snow day or something else, then you can adjust that calendar, but you still have
there's a two-way street component to this. And
Mhm.
so it's more than likely not the student that's going to be likely to violate copyright so much as it is the instructor if we're not
Yes,
very careful. And
yes.
so understanding that we are held to what's in the master syllabus as well is important because, again, education is relational. The syllabus outlines that relationship.
And we are we are incorrect if we believe that students understand the academic use of technology. And so some of this information will be brand new to them. For example, not sharing something that you've seen in a classroom exchange on Facebook, or not copying and pasting or sharing your login information. All of that is very critical to making sure that we're not violating others' privacy, and it matches the board policy. So it's that whole notion of, does a student really understand academic technology and academic use of technology? For example, thinking that a student can write a 500-word essay on his or her telephone might be a little bit problematic, but you will have students who think that perhaps they'll give that a try. How are you going to help students understand that that may not be the best? There may be far better typers than I, but I sure couldn't do it. And
Well, and this is an especially important thing to bring up in our currently changing environment.
yes,
We're
yes,
we are having to adapt and adjust to changes that otherwise in normal times would have taken 12 months, 2 years to
right,
make some sort of a large shift. Not only are classrooms changing, policies are changing, requirements are changing, guidance from ICCB, all of these things are changing on a rapid basis. So even as you go through this, I'm finding a couple things as long as I've been teaching that I still probably ought to adjust in my own working syllabus this coming spring because what I did in the summer changed to the fall based on our situation.
yes.
And it kind of probably ought to change again as I reflect over a few of these elements in the master syllabus.
Right. That is true. Now, I will also tell you that the master syllabus is reviewed and any updates are made every spring. So they're generally not radical changes, but one of the changes that came as a result of everything last spring was an update on this responsible use of classroom content. That's a little bit different language than what you might have seen if you had taught in the spring of 2020, because we have made some adjustments based on what we're seeing from students, and behaviors that, you know, not let's arrest them and take them to jail, but it's that privacy concern that students may not be used to, that we have to really make sure that we understand. And that as faculty, we are following as well. You know, what are we posting?
Exactly.
What are we saying? That's really the driver here. You have to be comfortable and understand that what we're doing is really a part of the process and policies of the college. All right, so then there's a section on safety in labs. You'll hear more about Richland Thrive, and the whole retention and completion, learning feedback, My Richland, Title IX. So all of these sections are required for the syllabus. We have to be able to check them off. You'll be going through your Title IX training, which is required. You'll be going through your ethics training, which is required. So you'll get used to all of this, but I just wanted to make sure you understood that it is here. We are responsible employees. So this statement, I would just copy directly from the master syllabus into the working syllabus. Then there's a section called support services. And here's where you have some options. You'll see that it's all listed on the master syllabus. Your decision is how much you want to include on the working syllabus. We have created a link that's a live link that is updated regularly. So if someone moves or we have some different information, I would put the link in. Uh, you can choose to include everything from pages 5 to page 7, as you wish, or you can pick and choose. There are people who say, oh, well, I don't ever use the Academic Success Center, so I won't include that. That's okay. I would keep the link, though, that would give students the access to that information. So there are phone numbers, there are direct emails, talks about mental health support, the Microsoft Student Advantage. Students have access to Office for free, public safety, online. So all of these, again, are resources for students. You need to be aware of them because you need, if someone has an issue, because one of the lessons that I've learned after being here as an adjunct and as a full-time person since 1982 is the fact that students will tell you all kinds of things that you would really rather not know. But sometimes they do that because they think you are going to be able to offer some help. You can figure out the students who might not have eaten in a couple of days. Information about the pantry, information about the snack center. Keep those in mind. The pantry is still operating right now, as a matter of fact, even though the college is basically closed. You need to be aware of the services that are offered and help students with those connections. Again, you're going to go through here, pardon me while this scrolls, you'll be able to figure out what goes in the working syllabus and what goes in the master syllabus. The key
don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
We make assumptions and we can't. We have to really make sure we know what we're doing.
If we don't share our own mistakes,